Know what this means. Like, maybe we've forgotten, and I mean, we, like the royal we, I definitely haven't forgotten. But in case you need a reminder, my takes are honest. My takes, whether you agree with them, my takes, whether you disagree with them, are strictly my opinion. And the reason why they might not seem harsh to you, or they might not seem like I'm critical enough, or as I used to be before I became a partner, is because I have watched this studio shit their pants so many times that I am not surprised. And this most recent iteration, this most recent update is not even the worst one. Maybe that's why it seems like I'm not freaking out or I'm being lenient. The reality is that's what they do. I'm not surprised by it. They've been shitting their pants for 3 years straight with these quarterly updates. They have a good launch and then they shit their pants 3 times in a row. That's the way this content cycle goes. And everybody knows it. I started pointing this out 2 years ago. So it doesn't really matter whether you think I should be harsher or I'm being too lenient or I'm trying to do some partner shit. We'll talk about some of that a little later, I promise you. But I welcome you to the end, a story told in 3 parts like all great stories, and I'll save you all the normal YouTube bullshit like shilling a different video in the middle of a video, telling you to like the video and subscribe, because chances are you already have, right? Like, I mean, let's be honest. But I'll treat you like an actual human instead of commodity. Welcome to the end.
Somebody had to do it. I am the chosen one.
When I was in the military, we had a saying about winning hearts and minds, and it was mostly used as a form of soft power projection. But overall, as Americans, one of the many ways that we use the military is through diplomatic measures. While I was deployed in the South China Sea, we went to various ports and had things called big tops, which were parties that were hosted by us that we weren't invited to mostly like foreign diplomats and dignitaries. But primarily we went to mainland China. We went to India and other places as well, but China was probably the most important one. And anyone who knows anything about the world knows that the United States and the CCP are not exactly friends. So why were we there? Well, by even going there, it is breaking the veil of control. It is easy to convince a group of people that Americans are evil if they've never met them. But when you take a subsect of the population and even briefly allow them to meet, party, eat, break bread with Americans and even American military nonetheless, it is hard to maintain that control and maintain the illusion that we are the enemy or that we're evil when you've met them and you've seen the generosity, you've seen the kindness firsthand. Now, I say that to say this. My biggest argument to become an Arenanet partner is giving the studio credibility and breaking that veil of positivity, that illusion that was cast for so many years and years that the only people that were let into this inner circle were the ones that were overtly positive and would glaze every move they made. I am a veteran player who actively plays the game, and I've always played this game. I didn't take year-long breaks. I'm a critic willing to share my thoughts directly about updates and provide real criticism without hyperbole or exaggeration, instead of just glazing the features or the content. And I must admit, I do ham things up for the audience from time to time. You are all here for a show after all, but I have no interest in covering for the mistakes or missteps of Arenanet, and frankly, I don't think they do either. They're willing to take accountability for the things that they fuck up. Covering the Q1 patch is one thing because we're putting a frame on things, but in reality, we have been at the end of Guild Wars 2 for the last 3 years. Around 2 years ago, I posted my first criticism, talking about the content scene being shit in the Guild Wars 2 space, and criticizing at the time the secrets of obscure quarterly updates, a trend that has continued. The game has maybe 3 or 4 patches in the last 3 years that I felt were even close to reflecting the former self that Arenanet was putting out. But these patches came with a price tag. A single Living World season patch of Season 3 or Season 4 provided more content than many of these paid quarterly expansion patches that we experience today. And that's a fact. But I'm burying the lead here. I'll prove to you that we are at the end. Proof is an important part of any argument. Why should you listen to me? That is the whole purpose of introductions. My name is XYZ, and I'm a mentor at XYZ Community. I have 12,000 hours played. I'm a PhD. I'm a specialist. They all say one thing: trust me. Every YouTuber does it, but in this case, the proof is right in front of your face if you care to look. When we talk about the end of Guild Wars 2, many people cope and say that we are getting expansions, we are getting updates. Well, this Q1 update was light and buggy. We've been running on fumes for the last 3 years. I've called these updates battle passes. I've referred to the studio, or at least this game, being in maintenance mode. I've been preparing you for the end of this game for 3 years now, before I became a partner, after I became a partner. And if you are sad about that, a lot of people are. But where one thing ends, another begins. Because I believe that Arenanet is not captured by their audience. They are a business making business decisions. And while many people will ultimately give up on the franchise entirely if they decide to release a successor to Guild Wars 2, the reality is they don't have a choice. The earnings for Visions of Eternity have been shown to be lower than a lot of their previous releases. The content scene of the game via Twitch and YouTube has also drastically shifted from passion and entertainment to purely guide-focused content, tier lists, patch notes, build updates, and even the discourse scene, like videos like this, are very circular. Many of the things that I say today that people agree with were said 4, 5, 6 years ago, and those creators were labeled as toxic, when in reality, they just had a little bit of foresight. They saw where we were headed. Do yourself a favor and YouTube Guild Wars 2, when you're done with this video, of course. And you will see a lot of people trying to funnel new or prospective players to their referral links, to the game, and I can't blame them. What else is there to do? I'm guilty of it myself. Our build guides, passion projects, our tier lists, passion projects, our gold making guides, passion projects? In my opinion, no. You never see an advertisement for a game and it's someone explaining how to min-max your daily routine. Nobody is going to care. While in other games like OSRS, you have challenge runs, you have community events, you have hardcore modes. Hell, even OnlyFans, the WoW era, was basically a video game based reality show featuring streamers. Where is that in Guild Wars 2? It's not a disease, it's a symptom of the proof right in front of you. Guild Wars 2 is coming up on 13 or 14 years old. I was 21 when Guild Wars 2 was released, and watching the sunsetting of Guild Wars 1 in real time. The community felt similarly. Even today, people claim that they had wished Arenanet continued developing Guild Wars 1 instead of going to Guild Wars 2, and many people were lost in that transition. However, even more players were earned. Guild Wars 1, for all of its benefits, did not have a jump button, and that alone turned players away. Guild Wars 2 and its various systems also have mixed results, but the Guild Wars 2 audience isn't the primary audience of the next project. Why are the job listings focused on cross-play and consoles? Why are they using Unreal Engine 5 instead of a homegrown engine like they have in the past? Who are they making this game for? Well, the same way that they didn't make Guild Wars 2 for the Guild Wars 1 audience, they aren't making Guild Wars 3 for the Guild Wars 2 audience. Many people will transition. I personally will. I will 1000% transition to Guild Wars 3 and play it and continue to play it if it is good. And many people won't. However, all of the other homeless gamers that don't have a place in New World, they don't have a place in Ashes of Creation, Final Fantasy, BDO, Throne and Liberty, or in World of Warcraft, who never clicked with Guild Wars 2 or they were afraid to start in a game this old, will try Guild Wars 3. And if it's good, they will stay. That is the goal. All of the discourse about the unannounced project and what it means for Guild Wars 2 is framing the entire question wrong, because with the end of Guild Wars 2 means something also happens. The end of Guild Wars was also bittersweet for many players. When Guild Wars Utopia was canceled and Guild Wars 2 was announced, it was a remarkably similar situation to today. Guild Wars 1 was unsustainable. The standard that they had put in place was largely the situation Guild Wars 2 is in now. They used to release new classes with skill sets and weapon types in addition to a whole new set of skills for each class, exponentially expanding the amount of development work required to continue the support support of the game year over year. Transitioning to Guild Wars 2, they had their own challenges. They released this game with 3 game modes that needed to be balanced when incorporated, and then they incorporated development bloat through the boon system and through elite specializations, and then balance problems associated with those. And these things had to happen. They are a normal part of any game's life cycle. That stretch, that crunch, the trying to do something bigger and better than before has to happen. The open potential of a new beginning means anything could happen. Sure, it could be shit, and everyone is assuming that it might be. There are genuine concerns, but I believe that Arenanet is willing to lose half of their player base to attract the hundreds of thousands of lost gamers. And I'm going to be there right with them, whether I am a partner or not. With that, I am proud to present
Fall. You are alone, child. There is only darkness for you, and only death for your people.
Nah, bro, they didn't tell me anything. I'm not presenting anything. Could you imagine, though? It would have been pretty cool, right? But I know that you've heard me bitch for a minute, and I want to address some things, but every good story is told in threes, so I'm going to have to do it. I'm going to have to end it here. I mean, I can't possibly just continue, right? Like, if I continued, it would fuck up the whole narrative. Like, I think it would mess it up. I know many of you guys want Guild Wars to continue on indefinitely, and frankly, I want to tell you right now that the worst is ahead of us. There is no cope here. There is no more addressing things. We're going to finish off the VOE story, the new maps, and then it's time to move on. I wouldn't be surprised if Guild Wars 2 gets some true Wizards Vault Battle Pass releases or some kind of Hall of Monuments thing in the future, or maybe even one final release. I have no idea what they even call it. They'll peel off a team to keep the lights on, but if I had to guess, it would be done. I know a lot of you guys have brought up that, oh, like they haven't even announced anything yet. And if they didn't announce anything, then they're like 5 years down the road. Like this game is going to keep going on and on and on. You guys are a little late to the party. Like the party ended right after End of Dragons. Like they were... Do you think the shareholders announcement, people claim that, that was a mistranslation? They weren't even talking about Guild Wars 3. That was, this or that. You don't get job postings from a mistranslation. This thing is happening. Like it's happening. The community is not nearly as stupid as you think they are. And people who have been playing this game for a long time, they can tell the difference. They can tell the difference between what is being put out right now versus what was put out in the past. And this isn't to say it's necessarily a bad thing. It's time. I feel like when I say, hey, stop talking about Guild Wars 3, it's not that I think that it's necessarily bad to speculate. It's that when you start pressuring the studio into trying to announce things out of cycle, it's going to be ultimately a bad thing. It is going to make it less likely to succeed. And what I want to see is their new projects succeed tenfold what Guild Wars 2 did. The same way that Guild Wars 2 was significantly more successful than Guild Wars 1. But the problem is Guild Wars 2 is done. Like the game is done. I've said the game was done for a long time now. What are we going to add? What are we going to get? New elite specs? New raids? New homesteads? Do you think there's space for that? Do you think there's more space for any of that? You think it makes more sense to cater to the existing audience now than to try to capitalize on a new audience and previous player base to a new game? Like most people like Guild Wars 2. Or they have liked Guild Wars 2 in the past. A lot of people have played it and then quit. Do you think that they won't be showing up for a Guild Wars 3? I know people in real life that have played during the EOD eras and have quit. And when I bring it up to them, they say, yeah, if they release a new game, they're definitely going to buy it. They're definitely going to try it out. A significant number of people who have never played a Guild Wars game will try out the new franchise or enter into the franchise. It's hard to jump into a game that is 12 years old. It's overwhelming, especially at the end of its life cycle. My previous statements about shutting up about Guild Wars 3 is like telling you to shut up about grandma's will while she's in hospice care. Like, let nature take its course and let's enjoy what we got right now. Let's get excited for what's coming next, but when the time comes, Guild Wars 2 is never going to be like it is right now. The same way Guild Wars 1 never returned back to the way it was back in the day. That's all I'm trying to say. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.